How to find out my girlfriend's ring size without her knowing. How do people just suddenly propose with a suitable ring? I am planning on proposing to my girlfriend, but I really don't want her to suspect anything, well, at least not make it obvious. How is something like this usually done? Can I just estimate her size and then resize it later? Any pro tips? Edit. I ended up asking her for her ring size. Suck on her finger, then keep your mouth in that exact shape while you make your way to the jeweler's. Here's the thing. You're talking about a piece of jewelry that you're asking her to wear every day for the rest of her life. So unless you have great taste and know her taste extremely well, you probably shouldn't pick the ring out on your own. If you are committed to doing a proposal without having prior discussions, shopping trips to look at rings, that's cool, but you should probably propose with an extremely plain placeholder ring that you can return, and then set a budget and pick out a ring she actually wants to wear. For what it's worth, a friend of mine proposed to his now wife with a plastic ring and a Tiffany gift card. People usually just get a close enough estimate and resize later. Ring size is tricky. Congrats and good luck. I mean, I just assumed people asked their partner what their ring size is. I'm of the mind that a proposal shouldn't be totally out of the blue. They should know it's going to happen, just not when or how. Everyone else has given decent advice on the covert ways of finding out ring size. Ask her mother or one of her girlfriends. Believe it or not, most girls actually do talk about stuff like that. Or, ask her yourself, and when she answers, say, "Okay, I just wanted to make sure this would fit." And pull out a ring pop. Cut off her finger. Have her put her ring finger in your beehole and get used to how it feels, then find an object that feels the same way. Take that object to the jeweler. I saw a post on Reddit that a guy asked his GFS friend to go out with her. Then at the mall, the friend wanted to go to a jewelry store to try on rings for shits and giggles, and they both had themselves sized, and the friend also got to see what kind of rings the girlfriend liked. OFC, she passed all that information to the boyfriend later, and girlfriend had no clue. Open mouth smile. Does she have other rings? Take one she doesn't wear often and find out the size. You can buy plastic ring sizers online. If she's a heavy sleeper, just do it in her sleep. Also, some jewelers will let you rent a ring to propose with, and then you can go back and choose the one you both like together later. Congratulations. You can start playing with her finger. Take a wire or a copper wire and place it nearby you. Take that and wrap it around her finger, jokingly saying, "This is your ring." Now remove that and take it to the jeweler. Best friend knew my ring size and my husband just asked her. She even helped him design a ring she knew I'd love. If she has a close friend, that's probably your best bet. How do people just suddenly propose with a suitable ring? They don't. People talk about what they want in a ring before buying one. I am planning on proposing to my girlfriend, but I really don't want her to suspect anything. Keep the exact place and time you want to propose as a surprise, but the proposal itself should never be a surprise. It also should not ever be done in public or in front of people you know, unless she already told you that she is okay with a public proposal. Can I just estimate her size and then resize it later? Yes, this is what most people do. Make sure that the ring you have in mind can be resized first. I'd suggest try to take one of her rings with you to the jewelry store. Does she have any jewelry? I guess most just take a already fitting ring and measure that. I told my now wife that I wanted to get her a promise ring, so I needed to know her ring size. Later I told her, I'm sorry, I lied about the promise ring. It's really an engagement one, if you'll forgive me that and marry me. Go ring shopping together. Then you can make sure you have the right size and it's also the kind she likes. I seen a post on Facebook circulating saying your shoe size is the same as your ring finger. Maybe mention that and ask if it's true for her. Take a longer piece of paper and wrap it around the correct finger while she's sleeping. Mark it, then measure how far around that went. You don't. Unless you know her amazingly well, you propose with a cheap £100 promissory ring and then go choose a ring together. Put your hand over hers when she's asleep and gauge the closest match. Your offhand fingers will be slimmer than your dominant hand, and use that size. Ooh, I have an idea. There's a brand called Charmed Aroma and they sell bath bombs and candles that come with rings inside of them, and when you order them they ask your ring size so the ring you get fits properly. Maybe use that as a cover like you want to get her a gift from there and need her ring size to order? There's different style rings for different candles too, so if you choose together you can also get a sense of what style of rings she likes too. Or use a garbage tie while she's sleeping and wrap it around her finger gently to measure it. I had the most romantic time ring shopping with my husband after he proposed to me. We took champagne and a picnic lunch to the park in winter. I was able to choose a ring I loved. We had to leave it at the shop to be resized, so he went down on one knee there and then to ask me again formally. The first and proper time he asked we were just snuggling on the sofa. If he had chosen a ring for me I would probably have felt obliged to wear it even if I didn't really like it. One night after we turned out the lights and laid down to sleep my partner said, "I need your ring size and I'll hear nothing more about it." Borrow a ring she already has. Okay, I just don't get this. Why does everyone want it to be a surprise? Why can't she be involved in picking out what's going to be on her hand forever? If you really want to make it a surprise, snatch one of her other rings to measure. But it would be better if she could design it herself. Randomly bring up in conversation that you read that all women know their ring size. Mention that it's just as weird as randomly knowing your blood type. She will respond with her ring size and her blood type. Then later on when she is asleep, cut off her finger to confirm both. Hey babe, if I were to, say, one day need your ring size for something, what would you say it was? Maybe we should measure it? Don't need to say when or where or how. That part of the proposal is the surprise, not the fact you want to get married. My fiancé measured my other rings with calipers and gave the info to the jeweler. My ring fits perfectly. Make sure you measure rings that fit her ring finger though. Theft of her possessions usually. Any ring that you know fits her will give you a good idea. My husband and I had been talking about marriage for months. We would go to jewelry stores and he would ask me to show him what I liked. When it came down to it, he actually narrowed it down to 3, took pictures and asked me which one I liked best. If she has a ring she wears regularly, take it to the jeweler and they'll measure it. You probably won't find the perfect ring in her exact size. It will most likely need to be sized up or down in some way. My left hand ring finger is a 6 while my right hand is 6.5. Just get one, and get it resized. It only takes a few days and then it will fit perfectly, which is also a huge relief for your gal because I know once mine was fitted perfectly to me, I felt so much more comfortable wearing it. Ask her sister or her mom if they know her size. If not, jewelers are happy to resize many of their rings, just ask them. Just go ring shopping with her. She'll be wearing this piece of jewelry for the rest of her life, and if you're in the point of the relationship that you're planning on proposing, then she should already know that you'll get engaged soon. Focus the surprise part into the details of the proposal itself, the where, how, and maybe when. Use twist tie to measure her ring size when she is asleep. My fiancé proposed with his grandmother's ring, unsized. It was about 4 sizes too big and I laughed and said, "This does not fit." He very solemnly looked me in the eye and said, "She was not a small woman." It was so funny and I'll remember it forever. We got it sized together and that was fun too. The placeholder idea is great. And don't compare proposals with other people. I'm willing to bet that most of the proposals you see are not 100% a surprise. I was not a fan of the total surprise idea, as marriage is something that should have a few conversations about with your partner. I really enjoyed picking out a ring together. My fiancé would have picked a much more expensive ring that I was comfortable with wearing every day. I was glad we could collaborate on it, and he still kept it hidden for a while before he proposed so that it was still a little bit of a surprise. A ring is a big purchase and marriage is a big commitment. Things that are best decided on together. Does she have any other rings she wears regularly? Maybe take one to the jeweler's to get an estimated size and ensure it can be resized if needed. Honestly, this may not be for everyone, but it worked for us. My boyfriend just flat out asked for my ring size, and also asked what kind of ring styles I like. That way, when he does it, it will a. fit, and b. be something that I'll love forever. I basically showed him images from my fav jeweler and said I like this one, and this one. It hasn't happened yet but I think he's bought it. Waiting game for now and I can't wait. I'm a pretty anxious and particular person and I'm glad we had a chat about it because when I asked him to show me what he would have bought me, it was nice but not sometime I could see myself loving forever. Smile. If she wears other rings, they'll often be set to wear on multiple fingers. All you need to do is get close, preferably over. After you pop the question, just resize. It's fairly common. The conversation and ring shopping should be done in advance. The exact circumstances of the proposal should be the surprise. My wife gave me several options and a few definitives, similar style to her mother's, yellow gold, diamond. I ultimately waited for a ring she liked but was only offered in white gold to be made in yellow. She also stopped by the jeweler on her own to confirm ring size. Then I set up 4 incredible date nights that didn't end in a proposal. She was almost sick of it when we were going to meet some friends at a Don Pablo's. I stopped in a park to walk around, only part 1 thought she would get suspicious at but didn't, and dropped to a knee while said friends were in a parked car snapping photos. It was a surprise and a welcomed one. Use a thread or wire to take the size while she's sleeping. Hey babe, wanna measure fingers? Talk to her. Do not just suddenly be like, surprise proposal. Without even talking about it. Ask her. Ask her what she likes. Just don't tell her when or how you're going to propose. This may be surprising, but a number of women do not like being left in the dark and then suddenly proposed to without even a conversation. My husband proposed with a ring pop. This was a good choice for me for reasons he knew, and the next day we went ring shopping together. If you're looking to have a traditional proposal down on your knee with a ring box to present, find a very inexpensive costume jewelry type ring. You can go together and she can be sized and make a choice about what she's going to be showing off to people and wear every day. We went shopping together and I was sized and showed a few styles and features I liked and what things I didn't. He chose the ring, but has my thoughts on what I wanted. I am not a jewelry person and was terrified of disliking a ring and not wearing it. He asked months after our trip, and I had never seen that particular ring at all. I love it, and I love so much that he chose it. Proposals should be a surprise, but being engaged never should. As a part of the big talks, just mention a casual shopping trip to look at styles and have her sized while you're there. It didn't ruin a single thing for me to have done the shopping trip with him 4 months beforehand. If you aren't opposed to letting a few people in on the secret, rope some of her best girlfriend's sister, mom in, make sure they've got her best interests at heart and that they aren't frenemies. Ask them to bring it up in casual conversation like, oh, do you have a Pinterest board for jewelry? What's your ideal engagement ring? Let's all measure our ring sizes for fun. That's what my fiancé did and I honestly didn't suspect a thing because my friends and I chat about this nonsense all the time. He still got my ring 3 sizes too big but I had it resized no problem. Cut her finger off and take it to the jeweler. Get them to measure it. Take her finger back and sew it on while she sleeps. Or, get a tape measure, slide it around her finger and get the cms. They usually go one size about what the measuring rod says to account for the days when your fingers swell. Use a rubber band while she is sleeping and mark it. I know one online ring shop will mail you a tape measure made of paper for free. Then you can just measure her finger while she's sleeping.